So right now I think we're going to try to take an eyeball at the fish that's in the Sirius view, which is sort of back behind the edge of the ROV. And then we are going to try to take a rock sample here, hopefully in that outcrop area of what looked like fractured pillows. Great, thanks for letting us know. So we weren't able to grab that, to get a good close-up look at that fish. And so we'll just have to make do by collecting a beautiful rock sample instead.
Yeah, these rocks look just great.
Yep.
I suspect everything in the lower left part of the frame is part of this larger exposure. So anything down the left lower corner of the screen would be a fabulous pickup.
Great. All right, so Pilot, I think you probably heard that, but basically we're looking at these rocks on the lower left part of the screen. They look like they've just fallen right off of this outcrop, so they're pretty close to being in place. And we feel pretty good about trying to collect something here. Great. So, and I believe Patty was saying earlier, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Patty, one of the things that we're going to try to do with these rocks, once they are made publicly available to all, is that scientists would be interested in age dating them. And when you're doing age dating, what you try to do is get rid of the outer part of the rock, which might be altered or have biologic material on it. You want to try to get into the core of the rock to get to that fresh, unaltered rock so that you can really make a good determination about its age and its chemistry.
Well, this is Patty. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly right. The lasers are pointed at a kind of oblong-shaped rock that is about 10 centimeters on its short side and maybe 15 to 20 or so on its long side. That might be big enough, but there are a couple that are somewhat larger in the upper left quadrant of the center portion of the screen. So 2 rocks over and 1 rock up.
From the lasers? Those look pretty big, Patty. So, Pilot, I think that she might be more interested in one of the rocks that's sort of 1 up and 2 over, or 2 up and 1 over, something like that. The big ones, but I'm afraid that they might be too big for us. Yeah. So, Patty, those are probably too big. So, can we try for this oblong one that's with the lasers on it?
Sounds fine.
Okay. All right. So, pilots, if you can see if that one, it looks like it moves, right? Great. Okay. Yes. And this is going to go in the starboard rock box, I assume? Okay, great. Thank you. Oh. Oh. That's not good.
That was very interesting. That looks like a piece of sediment.
Yeah. Could we try for another rock in this general view? And I guess we should attempt to squeeze it to see if it breaks.
I think, yeah, if the pilot could just take a grab at one of those larger rocks, let's see if that is going to break up and see if it's friable, maybe sedimentary rock.
All right, Patty, your wish is their command. So they're going to take a squeeze on one of those larger rocks.
Okay, that rock looks like it's either really terribly altered
Yeah.
igneous material or it's manganese-covered sediment. So why don't we forget it and go on somewhere else?
Okay. All right, pilots. So you probably heard that we are unwilling to look at any more of these rocks that are unexpectedly squishy, and we are ready to keep moving if you are. But thank you so much for trying. Before we leave, I think there's a request to look at something above the box that's biological, maybe a coral. Does anybody see a coral in view? I don't. So Tina is saying that there might be maybe right above the box.
To the right center, there's a little crab on the rock, and there's a request to look at that, I think.
Yeah, towards the base of that outcrop. Yeah, I think that's what they're asking for. And is there something at the top back of that outcrop?
Zooming in. Holding.
Oh, good. Diva's coming back, so she can tell us what we're looking at.
So this is Amenodopsis squat lobster. They are one of the most common squat lobsters seen throughout. Yeah, you should have said so, Dev. Seen throughout our world's deep oceans.
Okay, video's clear. Okay, she said it was very common, so I assume not. All right, full wide. It's true. Just do the best you can.
Yes, yeah, it looks
Okay,
like it's
free to
shrimp or
zoom.
something on the rock.
Zooming in. shrimp.
Oh man,
Looks
look
like
at
he's got
those
something on
rocks.
his
Very
back,
pretty.
though.
So this shrimp,
Zooming
judging
in.
by the length of the legs, I'm going to go with Nematocossinus.
Holding.
Also the shape of the body. Yeah, Chris agrees with me. Nematocossinus it is. Oh, can we zoom in on its back? Is the white thing on its back?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so that is
Zooming
a
in.
huge parasite.
Holding.
So it
Oh,
has
gross.
a hitchhiker?
Yeah, so that is a huge parasite living on the back. You can see the legs of it.
Where?
You can see the legs coming up.
Oh, ew.
Oh, he's not having a good day or life. That's pretty bad. Exactly what I was just about to say. We are good. That's great. Thank you,
Okay,
pilot.
zooming out. Yep.
So are we ready to keep moving? All right, so
Full wide.
pilots, whenever you are ready to get moving, we are ready to go. Yeah. Thank you.
Was that a fish to the right by any chance? If you turn right now?
Did you catch that, pilot? Yeah. Yeah, so I think they saw fish, but it might already be out of...
Yeah, it might be a little bit behind us by now.
yeah, don't worry about it, pilot. Thank you.
So we're finding ourselves back in an area that looks like it's more sedimented. Surprisingly, I don't see any more of those pebbly things right now. I'm sure we might run into them again. It looks like we don't have as many outcrops as we had just seen, although maybe we're moving back into that area.
Another one of those swimming polychaetes just went by.
What are those little things on the... I don't know what those are.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Can we get a 50-meter move at 160?
So we're coming up on a little outcrop.
0.2 knots, please.
Mostly buried beneath sediment, it looks like.
That's 50 meters, 160 degrees, 0.2 knots.
Good copy.
Coming up.
And pilot, you'll let us know when a good time to stop is next time? Oh, okay. Geologists on the line, any of these rocks look nice? Patty, are these rocks potentials?
Hi, this is Patty again. I was just going to
Yeah,
ask
bridge,
Casey,
move initiated.
but maybe you can
Thanks,
let me
Bridge.
know. Is there a degree of sensitivity on the amount of strength that the manipulator applies to these rocks?
I believe there is, because they were able to pick up a sedimentary rock yesterday without crushing it. So I do think there is.
Yeah, it certainly looked, as we were leaving the last place we tried for a rock, that the rock that broke open was very pale inside, and I'm guessing it was almost completely altered to clay.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, so it would be nice to get a rock sort of in the middle of the dive here, if possible. And even if it is altered, trace element compositions can still tell us quite a lot about the original composition of the rock. So although maybe we cannot get an age from a heavily altered rock, we can still tell something about the magma genesis of the sample.
All right, that sounds reasonable. So we're going to try to see if we can grab one of these rocks, pilots. We may try not to squeeze them quite as much as we did before because working under the assumption that maybe they're all entirely altered. It seems like the shore-based team is interested in still getting one. I think it's worth a try. Actually, are there any angular ones around? It is kind of small, but I like its shape a little better than those rounded ones. That one that's coming up just a little bit left of center. That one's too big. What about the one that's just to the right and over the giant rock? Of course, that may be in place. I'm not really sure. Yeah, just above that one. I can't tell if that's actually in place or not, though. Yeah, it looks... Yeah. Patty, do you have any thoughts on which one of these might be a candidate? Maybe that guy that's in the lower right coming into center.
Yeah, there are people talking around me, but I think any of these smaller rocks that you're looking at, in fact, there's one in the lower center that's kind of sitting on top of an area of exposed rock. That may be detached. It might be something you can pick up. The lasers just past.
Yep, could we get that one? Is it possible to get that one that looks like it's sitting on top of the outcrop? Hold on, shore-based team. We're having possibly a shift change or maybe just conversation.
Go ahead.
So we're going to say thank you to Carl, our pilot for the morning. And we're going to say good afternoon to Jeff, who's coming on as the pilot right now. While we're waiting for the pilots to complete their shift change, Diva, why don't you tell us about this dive?
Okay, so for those of you joining us, just to recap, we are at 3,762 meters depth on Enigma Seamount, which is located south of the Marianas Trench. And our basic goal during this expedition, well, not expedition, dive, not only is it exploration, of course, but on this dive, we'd like to pick up a bunch of rocks, essentially, as we move up slope to test whether this seamount is much younger than the seafloor on which it sits on.
Great, thanks, Diva. It looks like we have our hoped for and promised rock in view. We're going to see if we can try to collect that one.
Going in. Holding. Andy, you got me? Oh, for me? Yeah, it's fine for me. Yeah, no, this was fine. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Sure. Okay.
All right, so we're trying to,
Zooming
well,
out.
we did just pick up this rock. We're going to do some close-up zooms on it so we can
Full wide.
check it out, know that we can identify it once it comes back on the ship.
Okay, I'm zooming in. Holding. Okay, zooming out.
Can you get... Great. Thank you so much, pilot. Patty, I hope you like that one.
Thank you. That was a beautiful recovery. I just typed in a couple of comments on the surface of the rock and so forth. So thanks again. It's just marvelous to watch how dexterous these pilots are.
They really are. They're absolutely fantastic at collecting. The pilots just informed me that they're not just fantastic at collecting, but they're just great all-around people as well.
So we'd like to continue moving towards the waypoint, please. So we've had 2 rock samples so far for this expedition, for this dive. Sorry. So we can cruise along for a bit, yeah. I'm going to ask you to like snap zoom on any animals we may see. No.
Going in. Holding. Zooming out.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Bridge, can I have a 50 meter move? Bearing 160 degrees. Speed 0.2 knots.
Let's try it.
That's range 50 meters, 160 degrees bearing, 0.2 knots speed.
Good copy, Bridge.
Holding.
Coming up.
I feel like we've seen a lot of those today. Seems like that to me, but I'm not a biologist.
Can we kill the lasers? Zooming in. Holding.
Whenever you're done videoing, we can move on.
Oh.
Now, bridge, move initiated. Excuse me.
Sure does.
Move initiated.
All right,
Thanks, Bridge.
I'm zooming out. Is it a sea star on that rock just below
Can
it?
we look at that K star by any chance, please?
So now we're going to be eyeballing the sea star.
Zooming in. Holding here. And going a little tighter. Holding. Full zoom. There we go. Okay, video's clear. Okay, zooming out. Didn't hear much conversation from scientists.
What you muted. So from the line, it looks like we were looking at a Freya Sarah, and shore-based scientists are mentioning that we haven't had a nav update in a while. So we will try to figure out what's happening there and get back to it.
Yep, go ahead. No, that's what Deb was just saying. So I think, I don't know if that's you that has to deal with that or somebody else. But she's gone to investigate. It was definitely posting earlier in the dive. It seems to have stopped recently. Yeah, it last posted at 11:25. Sorry, what was that, pilot? I don't see what you're referring to, so let's just zoom in, please.
I think I see one. Yeah. Do you want to do a snap zoom, Jeff? Okay. Zooming in. Zooming in.
Where are we talking about? Okay, so this is, you may not have been in the van yesterday when I was explaining what these are. So these are called xenophyrophores, and they're a type of foraminifera. So basically they're a single cell, that's all they are, and they create these incredible tests that they live in. So, I don't know, they're very strange, and not a lot is known about them, I guess. But you see them on the seafloor in much of the deep ocean. And these ones have a sort of a plate-like morphology.
Okay, zooming out.
Whereas a lot of them can have sort of a reticulated morphology where they look like basically a little sponge sort of sitting on the seafloor as well. You'll notice them more now that you've seen one. And so they match the sediment because they make their test from the sediment, exactly.
Can we zoom in on that while we got time? Cool.
So this looks like one of the jellies we were looking at earlier, which is
Holding.
probably a Rhopalinomatide, and we've seen these in the Eastern Pacific at similar depths to this. This is great imagery, so I may be able to get a further ID if I send it to a jelly expert. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, see if I can zoom a little more. Zooming in. I know that's tough to track him.
Beautiful.
Sorry, zooming out, sorry.
The quality of imagery you guys get is just phenomenal. Oh, and there's a fish directly behind as well. So beautiful. Oh, and a swimming holothurian behind. It's all going on.
Zooming in. Holding. There we go. Okay, that's great. Sure. Nice. That was fun. Zooming out. Full wide.
Attention on the export. Disregard the following alarm. Fire detection. Able to know insurance. Export. Fire detection. Reset. Yeah, all for the alarm. Maybe we could check out this white thing to the lower right, if you have a chance.
I didn't see a shrimp. They were saying white thing.
Right in the center. There it is. Yeah, Jeff Drazen is interested in this one.
You are right, pilot. Well, no, not shrimp, mysid. Close relative.
Go ahead, Nav.
Cool. Quick video swap.
I repeat, move, range 50 meters, bearing 160, speed 0.2 knots. Nav, bridge move initiated.
Can we look at the white thing just moving into the center of this? It's like center right of the screen, please. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's an octopod.
Sure.
No. Rock. Disregard. Yeah, we don't actually know, pilot.
You could try changing the angle just slightly, I suppose.
In terms of geology, this is quite a contrast to our previous dives, which have been mostly a lot of exposed rock faces, steeper slopes, and also carbonate platforms. We're not sure what's underneath the sediment, but
Something
what we do know
swimming.
is that there is a lot of sediment on top of it.
You take a look at that fish, please, to
Coming in.
the right center.
Chris, can you confirm that that was the fish that we were going for that's kind of escaped us? Okay, I would just proceed, pilot. Thank you.
Looks like there might be a swimming shrimp.
Can we zoom on the red thing, please, in the center of the...
Excellent.
I love these. The way they swim is just so rhythmic. But this is a shrimp. We see similar ones across our deep oceans, and I'm not quite sure which one this is. It could be a benthismus, it could be a plesiopenaeus. Jeff, any thoughts? Could be an aristid.
Okay. Okay.
Is it possible to get a closer shot? Okay, so it's got a pretty prominent rostrum. Yeah. Oh.
Coming out a bit.
Doesn't want to be filmed today.
And he's taken off.
That was great. Thank you, pilots. Yeah, we always like seeing stalks.
Could we take a look at the stock here? I'm sort of wondering whether this would be worth collecting if it's this Candidella again, because of the fact it only has 2 polyps per whorl, so it's going to be different.
And we've seen, I mean, this may be our third, so it could be a good candidate for collection. This coral.
So I'll just put it out there for the chat room to find out how many people think this might be worthwhile for the first biological collection.
Pilot, did you get that? We would like to collect this, please.
Go ahead, Nav. Stopping ship now.
Sure. Excellent. Stand by.
So, biologists on shore, do we want to, how much of this do we want to collect? A little snip from the top, halfway down, the whole thing? Can we, sorry.
Go ahead, Nav.
Can we put on the scales
I repeat,
again,
move
please?
15 meters, bearing 330,
gauge how
speed
tall it
0.2.
Going in for the...
And can we zoom in again and get some really great imagery before we collect it?
Well, this is full zoom, so
Ship's moving, Nav.
That's perfect, thank you.
it's about as close as we're going to be able to get.
So I think about half of it would be great, please, pilot.
Full wide.
We do not have any biological collections yet. Only the port and starboard rock boxes are full. So we are about to collect a piece of this primnoid coral. The fact that it has only 2 polyps per whorl means that this is pretty fascinating to some of our coral biologists on shore. And we've also seen a fair few of them in this area. So they're also representative of the fauna in this area, I guess. Yes, that looks perfect. Thank you, pilot. Perfect. Sorry, which box is it going into?
Full wide.
Okay, sure. So while we're transiting, one of our scientists, Les Watling, on shore, has done some research into those strange balls or spheres we've been seeing on the seafloor. And he thinks that they may be another type of foraminifera. So closely related to those xenophyphores, which we were looking at before, that are sort of shaped like a fan-like plate and are built with sediment. This is another type of that, essentially. So these are called gromids, if this is what indeed what they are.
Complete.
And they, like the xenophyphores, essentially live in their, make their tests using their own poo, basically, which happens to be a lot of sediment. And these, Les was also saying that there have been records of quite large abundances of these off of Guam, in the deep sea off Guam. So there you go. The internet can solve everything, people.
I think we lost the conference call. Stand by.
Wait, he said.
If we could look at that white sponge
Okay,
center
we're back.
left before we leave this location.
Sure, Chris. Give it a little shake. Very good. Okay, beautiful. Our first biology collection on Enigma Seamount. No, but I think it could be a close relative, maybe.
Zooming in.
And can I come in on the center right?
Holding.
So this looks like a Faria sponge. Could we zoom just a little bit more, please, pilot?
Standing by. Zooming in.
So this is not a.
There we go.
We did,
Probably,
Chris, we didn't catch any of that.
The directing it to the sediment. That'll rule out Farids for sure.
Okay, so the only thing I got from that, Chris, was that it was not a Faria, potentially a Hylanema, given the attachment to the sediment. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's about as far as I can go right now. I haven't dealt with the sponges, but there's only there's only a couple of groups of sponges that have that type of attachment, and it doesn't look like any of them that come to mind right now. So it's a really nice observation. Very strange sponge.
Great, thank you, Chris. Yes, thank you.
Zooming out. That's full.
That was definitely a hexactinellid, which is one of the glass sponges, and you could see in the attachment to the seafloor those individual sort of spicules, which when you sample them, they're exactly like sort of, glass spicules. Can we zoom on the holothurian in the center, please, of the screen?
Go ahead.
Or is it not is it a rock? Damn it. Okay. I saw like the track.
I repeat, ship move, range 50 meters,
okay,
bearing
let's continue on
160, speed 0.2.
No, it's fine. I trust you.
Nav bridge, ship
I
moving.
also thought it was a holothurian. What's the red thing? Is it another shrimp?
Maybe this one will be healthier.
Standing by. Zooming in.
So this is another one of the Caridian shrimp.
Holding.
Oh, you can see the big plates on either side of the head. And this one doesn't look like it has a big rostrum. Big rostral spine.